Epilogue. Robin was smiling at me and holding my hand. I was surprised momentarily by how tall she had grown, but then I had only been talking to her through a screen lately rather than seeing her in person. I don't ever remember her smiling much during the dark times we were together on Orpheus, but she did it all the time during our annual catch-ups, and the smile seemed to grow bigger every year. "Colin," she said, "you haven't changed a bit. Well, you're a different colour, I suppose. New skin suits you. In every other way, you're the same. How long has it been since we were together properly at school? 3 years?" I nodded. And those 3 months since the last catch-up just flew by. What a lot of living we've packed into that time. I can't believe we finally graduated university after all this time. In fact, I can't believe I actually get to graduate today at all. My childhood dream. I'm so thrilled. Can you believe we're finally going out into the world officially, as adults? I shook my head. I couldn't believe it either. The whole day of graduation seemed to be full of shocks, but unlike the days of school and university leading up to it, the shocks were all positive ones these days. "It's so good seeing you in person again, Penguin," I said. "The course of the Universal just aren't the same. Isn't it weird being back on Orpheus?" "I know," she laughed. "Who would have thought it would have become the educational centre of the universe in the 11 years since we left here? Like I say, you haven't changed a bit, except we write with more expensive pens and more expensive notebooks now. How do you manage it, old friend?" "Clean living," I laughed. "And I'm much more comfortable in my own skin nowadays. I've shed most of the old one I didn't like. Quite literally." We both giggled. "Do you know something else?" Robin said. "I feel as if I lived at least half my life during those 10 days on Orpheus. You really carry your childhood around with you, don't you? I never thought it would be the key moment of my life all these years on. Now I'm officially an adult. But here we are. Hopefully that means it's been a nice, quiet, calm, happy sort of a life, though. At least I hope so. And what about you, old friend? A published writer, a famous lawyer, one of the most famous Camalosians in the universe." I blushed. "Oh, I'm just the same old me as I always was. Same here, though. I often wonder about what my life would have turned out like if we hadn't have been through such adversity, and if you friends hadn't all been there to help me find myself. You were all amazing." "Yes, we were, weren't we? Not bad for a bunch of scrawny kids." Robin looked into the middle distance, remembering, then laughed and started the conversation our class always had whenever 2 of us got together. "Hey, do you remember the time when—" However, she was interrupted by an official of the Intergalactic University on Orpheus, who was fussing round her and trying to put a mortar ball back on her head straight.
"What on Orpheus do you do to it?"
she was saying to Robin.
"Stand straight or it will keep coming off. No, not like that. Stay still. You'll tip it over again."
"I am standing still, I think," sighed Robin, and glanced at me. So much of the new me I was going to be at uni. It looks as if, despite my best attempts, my dyspraxia has followed me all the way through my education, and now to my graduation. I hope things get better when we become adults. "Adults," I said. "Who would have thought we'd become the enemy?" I look at her. I can't believe we're all Earth age 21 already. All except Bettina is technically still a child. She always hated being the youngest in the class. And we chuckle. It feels good to hear the sound of our laughter merge again after all these years, the way it always did. Where did the time go? It only seems yesterday we were trapped here and at the mercy of psychopathic pharmaceuticals. "Do you feel any different?" asked Robin. "About becoming a grown-up, I mean?" I thought. No, not yet. I don't feel as if I've grown at all. I still feel a bit half-baked. "Me too," she said. "I thought being an adult was meant to feel different to this, that you were supposed to have got your life in order already, to have worked out who you are. It feels as if I'm just beginning." "Oh," I said, "I wouldn't worry too much. We have the rest of our lives to work that out. There are many more layers of skin in life to shed yet, you know. Our education didn't end when we left the classroom. Finding out all the answers straight away would spoil things, rather." I smiled at her. "You know, it wasn't until I found the rest of you that I even began to find myself." She laughed. "Look at you now, the head boy of Orpheus, the founding member of Orpheus University, known for his speeches, and the creator of the universe's first legislation protecting children on all 11 planets. I keep telling everyone back at the University of Earth that I used to know you. There might be a series of human autograph hunters coming to this planet later to track you down." Just then a gust of wind blew and her mortarboard fell off, and she swore. Me, I'm just the same old penguin I always was. No, I said, smiling. Not at all. You forget, old friend, that I was there when you first arrived on Orpheus. You weren't the same Robin by the end at all. You metamorphosised completely in those 10 intense days we spent together. In fact, you became a stronger you than you were only pretending to be when you came. And now that you have your degree behind you, you're going to be amazing. Robin smiled at me. Thanks, old friend, she said. Remember how Blotchy got smarter as he got warmer? I guess we others get smarter by degrees too. Now where have those others got to? Just then a very tan Bettina arrived, walking over the hill, wearing 3 mortarboards on her heads and pulling a slower and older Blotchy on a lead.
Hello, hello, hello,
She beamed.
Are we the first?
Bettina, yelled Robin and put her arms round her friends' necks. How is life in the jungles of Incognita?
Hot,
She said.
That new planet they assigned me to is a bit too near the sun for my liking. All good fun, though. Incognita is such a fascinating place. It's a bit like Earth, only the size of Neptune, so it's taking a lot of exploring. Planets don't usually get that big without being gas giants, do they? Or do they? You know, it's times like this I wish I'd paid a bit more attention in Mrs. Maggrump's science classes.
Oh, don't remind me, said Robin. I think we were too busy trying to survive back then to learn, though. Did we really all make it through and have these happy lives?
A gallon of gate-guzzling grey Glabdiharbit, yes.
Grinned Bettina.
I still have the mental scars. I think about those days a lot. You know, fighting my way through hazardous alien terrain as an adult is nowhere near as scary as fighting my way through one of those lessons as a child when I wasn't prepared or experienced for it. Less dangerous, for one thing. There are fewer predators in the jungle. The saber-toothed Argybrass are pussycats compared to Mrs. Maggrumph.
Bettina shuddered.
You'd be interested in an incognita, though, Robin. I must take you to the part we've tamed one day. The resources we've discovered there do everything they said red weed did, but without any of the side effects. Yellow reeds they are. It's going to be such an important discovery for the future of all our species, and it should be out of its 10-year testing phase in a few years. Blotchy's been quite brilliant at sniffing out the planet's supplies, haven't you, boy?
She reached down and ruffled the Argybrath under his collar.
He's getting a bit old and slow now, poor thing. He's still the best pet that ever there was in the whole universe. It was the one good thing that school and Orpheus gave me. Apart from my friendship with all of you, of course.
She tipped a few heads back then and laughed.
If our younger selves on the day we met could see us now, eh? Best of friends and reminiscing about it all, as if it happened to someone else. I wonder what they'd think.
They'd be proud, said Lando, arriving unseen. Hello, everyone. Lando, said Robin, putting her arms around his Clandusprodic neck. I haven't seen you all summer. How's life in the world of employment? I'm doing brilliantly, thank you, he smiled. And I know I say it every time we meet up, but it is really all thanks to you, my friend. My Agarthan cave tours on Ziggurat 3 are doing superbly, and I get to meet people from all over the universe and make new friends. It's terrific. No one will ever beat the first alien friends I made, though. Will you look at Orpheus now? Asked Robin. It looks so different since they cleaned it up for your tour, Colin.
Yes,
Said Bettina.
Bags, let's go round it again like we do every year. I want to see my homework hanging on the walls again. It was the best of the class, after all.
Isn't that Squash over there? Asked Lando. He looks like he's put on weight.
Here I am.
Called a voice.
Sorry I'm better delayed. That last in Zula Park was better.
Bettina laughed.
I will never get tired of hearing you swear, Squash.
She said.
It reminds me of how much better you are nowadays.
Oh,
Squash laughed.
it's still such a relief to feel myself again. Those few days of being out of it were scary. I still remember it well, even over a decade on. Thank goodness you all rescued me when you did, and the effects of the weed were reversible. And look at this natural padding,
He said, walking up to us.
It really helps with the falling over. I've taken up martial arts now too, thanks to a Mrasianart class I took. It's great. I get to throw people and squash them. It gets out all my inner aggression too. Bash, bash.
Said Jake, rolling up behind us, with his girlfriend Jackie in tow.
Pleased to meet you all.
She smiled shyly to everyone, before curling into a ball. And you, said Lando. I'm so glad you could make it. I hope all these faces aren't too scary for you,
Not at all.
said Jackie shyly. Robin was busy admiring his medals. Look at all those, Jake, she said. Well, you must have added another 7 since our meet-up last year, he said proudly.
I was knighted by Queen Yoko last year. The Royal Garter of the Squeaky, the services to younger Glabdiharbit.
How I wish we'd had your international child support hotline when we were at school, said Lando. What a difference that would have made for terrified youngsters,
Everyone deserves to squeak their mind.
said Jake.
I'm so proud.
Squeaked Jackie.
I married the bravest Glabdiharbit of them all. Do you know, he even sent him a last interplanetary alert last week, while the rest of us were running around madly squeaking. I think I'm just getting old.
Laughed Jake, and everyone joined in.
Oh yes, and I plucked up the courage to get engaged.
Squeaked Jake,
I'd love to invite you all to the wedding.
Wow, we'd love to come.
said Bettina.
What time? What date? What planet?
The admin sorted. Next came Margalo, with lots of little Magrumphs under her arm. So you did adopt them all, laughed Flando, scooping up a whole lot. Good for you, Margalo. Oh, we're so sweet.
Yes,
Laughed the Maggrumph.
I found out I like having people around me, but I had a lot of love to give. I didn't want the poor things to be sent to an international school like we were when we were orphaned, so I adopted them as babies. Founder, Robin, Circle, Bettina, stop doing that. Hermione, you need your lap. Jake, come back here. It's not safe for you to be out on your own wandering around.
We looked a bit confused,
You really named your little ones after us?
said Bettina, laughing.
Of course.
Said Margalo.
Names are an honour. I'm Maggrumph. You are all my closest and dearest friends. Without you, I'd have died a lot of years ago. And I don't consider myself to have a real family anymore. Except one way, of course.
Who's this chatterbox one? Asked Robin, picking up a tiny Maggrumph.
He's called Colin.
Said Margalo, to much laughter.
I think I may have got their names a bit wrong.
Woowa and XXXX arrived next. Said XXXX. Who's hungry? I have some new recipes from our intergalactic restaurant we'd love you to try. They laid out the spread on the ground.
XXXX.
Yelled Bettina.
How are you?
Hungry.
He admitted.
So good to see you all. I've been so starved on news of how you were doing. As for me, I love our Olympic cooking business.
Said XXXX.
And it's about time the masses got to try it too. There are so many carbohydrates for energy, but no calories at all.
Okay, cool, said Robin, picking up a bowl of cereal. And thank you for the box of Doosbury pot noodles you sent to me on Earth. It was very popular with my uni roommates. Next in flew Hermione.
Hello, old friend. How's the joke shop on Habridat's going?
Asked Bettina, holding out her free hands, only to receive 3 electric shocks. Said Hermione, rolling around on the floor.
You're facing! It's an odd thing,
Said Bettina out the corner of her mouth.
but Hermione seems to be getting younger every time I see her. More childlike. She's not the serious, cynical Habridat we used to know at all.
Well, I'm glad one of us is defying growing up anyway, laughed Robin. I was just saying to Colin how ungrown up I feel. There was a murmur of agreement from everyone. I realised now that every adult who seemed to know what they were doing really was putting it on, like Elfrida once said. Where is she, by the way?
Elfrida!
Bettina had spotted her friend flying across the horizon.
Hello, everyone.
The Mrasianart called.
Oh, this is fun to meet up again.
She landed, a bit wonkier than she had when we were younger. She was accompanied by Archulus and their 2 little Mekkion. Oh, look, said Robin. They really have their mummy's wings, don't they? And their daddy's wheels. Was the birth all right?
Easy.
Grinned the Mrasianart.
I tell you, every species should have evolved to have umbilical cords made of Velcro. It makes everything so much tidier.
That's so sweet.
Said Bettina.
Who's a little pretentious, detail-loving, philosophical, scientific baby then? You two are. Yes, you two are.
The little girl burped and accidentally blew a fuse. Sighing, Archulus changed the baby and put a new one in.
She does that a lot.
He said, pressing a button to shrug his shoulders.
I don't know where she gets it from. Still the best thing that ever happened to me though. Fact.
How's work going for you both, I asked.
Great!
Said Archulus.
Do you know we're still discovering new things about that red weed stuff in my laboratory? All these years on.
Robin shuddered. If only we'd had your research back then. So many lives would have been saved.
True. Better late than never though, in case it never happens again.
Archulus blinked.
Fact.
To think I used to be so scared of growing up,
Said Elfrida.
and of what sort of worker, and what sort of mother I might be. It all seemed to come naturally, though. It's brilliant. You know, there really was nothing to be afraid of. I quite like being an adult. It's easier than being a child in so many ways. The more people listen to you, you have more control over your own life.
Yeah,
said Hermione.
but you were already halfway there, let's face it. That sort of thing suits some people. But I'm determined to stay a kid longer than ever, me.
So saying, she let off a firecracker somewhere behind us.
Your faces!
She cried, rolling on the ground.
I tried to buy a copy of your book Ensconce for newborns for when we grow up, Colin.
Said Elfrida.
But they've all sold out everywhere, except the Earth edition. It accidentally fell backwards in time for a wormhole, so I bought them back. I figure it won't hurt to teach them a bit of humour too. It's this generation's endurance. My family has become ever so popular since everyone read about our exploits. It's fantastic. It's selling like hotcakes.
The same on doozy,
said XXXX.
Although thinking about it, that might have something to do with the fact that it's being handed out free with packets of hotcakes.
That's amazing, I laughed. I truly thought nobody was ever going to pay attention to anything I ever had to say. I still can't believe people are actually reading it. Sign my copy, please, said Robin, and soon there was a queue. So I took my shoes off and signed with all 4 feet the way a good Camalosian should. Thank goodness I wrote everything down, I said. Those teachers who told me to stop were all wrong. But what did they know? We all giggled, as if we were 10 years old again.
Poor old Mrs. M,
said Bettina.
She's still got another 140 years to serve in Incarcerate, though I think Mr. C is up for parole in 100 or so. I went with Margot to visit her last month. She recognised me straight away. I thought she was going to tell me off the whole visit.
And aghast. Was she the way you remembered her?
No,
said Bettina honestly.
It's strange. Scary adults seem less threatening when you're an adult too. Can look them in the eyes and others. There's more of a respect somehow too. I don't quite understand why those years should give you some kind of equality though. I'm certainly no better or more brilliant than I was when I was little. And the longer I live, the more I realise how little I truly know, that any of us know.
She shuddered.
Thank goodness we kept our pact to never turn out like her. I think we're quite a popular bunch of parents and sprog parents, all in all. Me especially.
She laughed.
We're the best.
Logically,
said Archelaus.
that's a comparative statement that can never be fully quantified. Fact.
You all know it's true.
Laughed Bettina.
Yeah, right.
Said Hermione, slapping her friend on the back. Robin smiled. We all did it. We actually did it. We survived childhood, and after such a start too. It could have turned us into truly horrible people, but instead see how we turned out. I'm so proud of us all. We looked around at each other, beaming.
Well,
said Bettina,
we have an hour before our graduation ceremony. Now we're all here. What are we going to do?
what we do every year when we get together, laughed Robin, even if we all do it a bit slower now.
Okay,
Said Bettina.
same rules as usual. Last one to roll down the hill after the cheese has to get the drinks in.
Laughing, we all made our way down the hill, mortarboards flying, landing on top of Squash with a bump on the bottom.
Why is it always bloody me?
He complained.
Get your bloody wings, hooves and antlers off me, you
Everyone laughed. Just checking you're still yourself, Squash, said Lando.
Well,
Bettina said.
we always vowed we'd never change when we got old. Even though we've gone our separate ways and enjoyed 11 very different lives, I think it's fair to say we've not changed. Not really.
No, said Robin. I wonder what our 10-year-old selves would think of us now.
Oh,
Said Elfrida.
they would be beyond proud. But what is adulthood? The second chance to take every bad thing that happened to you in childhood and put it right. I think it's fair to say we did that okay.
To Class 5C, said Robin. May we be friends, always, forever and ever and ever. And so, dear reader, we were, for the rest of this life, and beyond.
I'm Glabdiharbit, and I'm here to tell you all about Abundance, the next exciting book in the Kindred Spirit series. Even though it's really scary, just to warn you, it involves 6 couples that have met up through an intergalactic dating site, and it's a tale of how they all got together. It's very romantic and sweet, which is why I'm reading it under the table without getting too scared. It also features 12 separate adverts from our sponsors. Here's one of them now.
Are you a worry monster? Got a project that needs doing? gentlemen, call Lewis's clan today and get a Clandusprod to do your job for you. Call 555, 555, 555, yes, I clan. Because you clan. Oh, yes, oh.